Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It is turn 39. Jump into things. Okay, so, a bunch of stuff going on this turn. We have completed Construction 3. We're on our way up to Construction 4. Construction 4 is going to take a little while because we've got so many mages in transit, but that is okay. We have a Throne of Might claimed and a Throne of Abundance claimed. Let's check those out real quick. Throne of Might. Here's a Throne of Abundance. Holy shitballs, Batman! So Throne of Abundance is a tier 3 throne. Spreads Dominion 3. And then just gives a bunch of gems. 1 fire gem, 1 air gem, 1 water gem, 1 earth gem, 2 astral pearls, 1 death, 1 nature. 150 gold per turn, but your Dominion gets Sloth plus 2. If you're already at Sloth 3, then this is just win all around. So, very cool. And then we had the Throne of Might get taken, which is a tier 1, and it's just plus 2 strength. I say just plus 2 strength. Plus 2 strength is great. That's a great thing to add to your bless. We would love to have that. Be fantastic. All right. What else do we got going on? We have done a bunch of arcane probing. Mixed results. We'll see how it goes. No. Our respects, no. No. Yeah! Okay. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 castings of arcane probing. We found 1 location. This is why I hate playing on fucking 55 gem. If we were playing on 75 gem, like 3 or 4 of these would have had finds, and it would have been great. I say 3 or 4 of these, but in fairness, some of the places that we probed, we already had looked through with an Astral 1, and we had already found things. The likelihood of us finding something more with even with a 75, gem frequency on a map would have been low, but it would have happened more. But anyways, what did we actually get? We got Crystal Flames and a Starlit Pond. So the is that we cast 10 times. We used 30 gems, and we only found 2 sites, which sucks. But Starlit Pond is a +1 Astral Pearl. Whatever. That's nice. Good. We're happy about that. Crystal Flames is fucking dope. Crystal Flames is an Astral Pearl, a fire gem, increases cold, and it gives you access to crystals. So Crystal Priestesses, Crystal Sorceresses mainly being the big thing. Crystal Sorceresses are amazing. They are super duper good. Astral 1, Air 1, being able to inject these into your communions is incredible. And actually, something that we did not have access to via the Sorceresses, which now, because of access via the Sorceresses, we have fire, earth, water, death, blood that we can all inject. And now with the Crystal Sorceresses, we have Sorceresses and then we have Crystal Sorceresses. With the Crystal Sorceresses, we can now inject air into our communions, which is awesome. Air is amazing. The only thing that we can't inject into our communions immediately now, well, I mean, we still gotta get Sorceresses that have death and blood and water. We don't have those yet. But if we do get those, then the only thing that we don't have to be able to inject in immediately is actually nature. But with Sorceresses, because it gets us access to crystal gear, we could get Slay or Master Matrixes and things like that in order to get a nature caster into a community. So we definitely have options there. So that's really cool. This is all really cool. So we've got Jade Sorceresses down in the south, and now we've got Crystal Sorceresses up in the north. So that's awesome. Searched Old Woods, didn't find anything, so no death yet, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then we have a bunch of battles, so we're going to go through. There we witnessed a battle on Ind, where Ind knocked Middle Atlantis off, and it was legitimately just a single war shambler, so nothing happened. Ind called his bluff. Easy peasy. On there. We attacked into the Forest of Lost, but this is just us moving through on our way to attack Ind in Bergamum. So no real fight there. We attacked into Assad, into some undead, with a Monketsina. So nothing huge here. Iron Skin, Blessing, Temper Armor, Swank. Now this is the guy that has quickness on, so he goes pretty ham, pretty quick. Gets himself full wide a few kills. Nice. Alright, cool. So, battle in Assad, that went well. We took control of the Verdant Steppe, met no resistance. We attacked into Iprissia with one of our... Oh, no, we got attacked in Iprissia by some commanders. So, he's just pinging us with commanders. And, unfortunately, this is actually not a lot of PD. We only put one PD in here. So, this commander could totally do it. Oh shit. Hey, good job, Aloe the Kikmongwi. You did it. You did it, my boy. Uh-oh. Get him. Get him. Stab him in the back. Yeah, he didn't get him. That's fine. Whatever. Good job in Iprissia. And then we have an unfortunate scenario. So, I say unfortunate scenario. This honestly, this whole situation pisses me off, but I'm trying to not let it, like, rub me that much of the wrong way. So we bump in Midria with Atlantis. And this goes back again to one of the reasons why I prefer to establish pre-existing borders, right? Because if I say, hey, these provinces are mine, these provinces are yours, then we know where we're attacking and we don't bump, right? We don't have to send lists back and forth to each other every turn. I'm gonna be attacking in my borders, our pre-negotiated borders. You're gonna be attacking in your pre-negotiated borders. But this fucking shit about, oh well, you know, we don't know how it's gonna turn out, and what if he rallies or takes this or fights back here, then you can come in and take this from me, and I can come in and take... That's shit. That is all shady shit. If you're gonna be allies in a war, agree on freaking borders, work within those borders, and support each other. Don't sit there on the edge. Don't have the idea of, oh, well, I'm gonna sit there on the edges of our war, and as soon as I see this guy take this province back from my ally, I'm gonna jump in with the hopes that I can take it from my ally. Fuck off, right? That's shitty. Regardless, though, we bump, and I'm gonna throw this out there. This is the army we bump with. My annoyance, we're gonna die. My annoyance is not that we die. I've been talking about this for a while. We're going to lose Wuyas here or there. That's fine. That's okay. The issue that I have is the situation. Is that it constantly feels like Atlantis is trying to take advantage of me in the situation. And basically the only reason I haven't just said, fuck you, we're going to war, is because I'm hoping to work it out because I don't want to be at war with Atlantis. It's not a prospect that earns me anything, other than annoyance for the next 20 turns before I die. Like, it's incredibly frustrating. So, I don't know. Anyways, this Atlantean army... I'm not done with this. I can feel it. I can feel it rising with it. I'm not done with this. I'm gonna get saltier before this is done. So this Atlantean army is easily gonna be able to take on this PD. No big deal. Cool. But before we talk about, or before we watch the bump, the reason why. Let's take a look at the scenario, right? So we saw this last turn. We saw these kind of like clustered armies of Ind. The reason this is the army that was on Ind's capital. Atlantis has moved off of Ind's capital because Ind is, and these are Atlantis's words, and I am paraphrasing, but they are Atlantis's words. Ind is deathballing, and he doesn't think he can sit on the capital with the death ball, and he was trying to... The reason why we bumped is he was trying to kill one of the smaller groups of the death ball. One, if it's broken up into fucking groups, it's not a death ball, right? None of these are death balls. These are not death balls. These are just armies. If it was all combined into a stack of 500 or something like that, that's a fucking death ball. A death ball is all of their units, or the majority of their units, gathered together as one intended to be undefeatable force. That's a death ball. You are not trying to kill a smaller portion of the death ball. You're just trying to kill an army that is marching around his territory. You're trying to defeat something in detail. Sure, I get that. That's fine. Right? But if you're gonna cross into... And I'm gonna throw this out there. Even in the borders that we're arguing over, this is still mine in the borders that Atlantis agrees to. But you're attacking into that. Where do you think I'm going to be attacking? And that is where I start to get salty and start to call horseshit. Because... I don't really care about losing the Wuya. We had some good gear on it. I think we basically had identical gear. No, we didn't have Boots of the Messenger. We had Longstriders on the other one, right? But like losing the Firebrand, that sucks. Everything else is very replaceable for us, but losing the Firebrand sucks, right? But it's more the principle of the matter and this feeling that Atlantis feels completely justified in the way they're doing things and saying things. And I feel like that's horseshit. So, again, I am hoping that we don't have to go to war, but I'm honestly assuming that this is not going to get handled well, and Atlantis and I are going to end up at war, and then that's basically the rest of the game. And we'll see how that goes. So, now that I've had my fill of bitching, let's actually watch what happens. This is very easily tellable though. We kind of understand what happens going in. We know what Wuya 4 is capable of. Getting up to about 32 protection, being able to repel well. But if we look at the things that we're up against, we know we're going up against a whole bunch of water elementals, right? The water elementals are less of an issue. We can't repel them because they're elementals, so they have super morale, right? And they have a bunch of attacks, but those attacks are, I say low damage. They're not low damage, but they're low-ish damage comparatively. They're 20-ish damage, and 20 damage when dealing with Temper Flesh is really low. Low enough that 32 protection is going to win out the vast majority of the time, right? So that's a scenario where we're probably mostly good against the water elementals. we can regen against water elementals, probably. The issue isn't the water elementals. The issue is these guys, the War Shamblers. So War Shamblers have this coral glaive that hits really, really hard. So very high damage. It is piercing damage, so it makes it even better against high armor. So this thing is going to be hitting us for actual real amounts of damage, and then after it hits us, it also has a weak poison effect, which we do not have resistance against poison, which means every hit is actually going to do a whole bunch from us. We can't fight War Shamblers with Wuyas, not with the setup that we have on them. And actually, I kind of feel like War Shamblers are one of those units that, unless you have a few very specific things, you can't fight them, period, with thugs. And really, I say a few specific things, but the specific thing I'm talking about is if you have easy ways to get body ethereal on your thug or your super combatant, then you can probably fight them, but otherwise you cannot. It's very difficult to actually do anything against them because they hit so fucking hard. Honestly, they're easily masked and they hit really fucking hard. So that's the situation. So that's what we're gonna face here. We're gonna go through our whole shtick. Water elementals coming out. Skill of heroes. Basalt blessing. Fire shields. So we're able to get up our iron skin. Earth power. Flying shield. Okay, so we have 31 protection. We have a protective force of 50% chance to reduce damage by 20%. Won't protect against armor negating attacks, but there's not a lot of armor negating attacks. Gonna really help us absorb a lot of the crush hits, but we can kind of like just watch what happens. Come in, so we get hit, and we can see, okay, there's a lot of attacks coming in from the water elementals. So they're dangerous, but they're kind of a controlled danger, right? Like, as we get surrounded by water elementals, we'll slowly whittle them down, and as we whittle them down, they deal less damage, less attacks, and they become way easier for us to manage. So there's the possibility that enough water elementals finishes us off, but I don't think this is enough water elementals, right? We would need more water elementals than this. But the water elementals don't matter. They get into us, and then immediately we start taking some damage, and then we get just destroyed. Actually, I say that, but truth be told, I think the water elementals did do it for us. Let's take a look. I've been preaching about how it's not the water elementals and how it's the war shamblers, but I think actually it's the water elementals that killed us. Let's go all the way to the bottom and see where we start actually taking damage. Yeah, no, it's the water elementals. Dude, how are you gonna get that lucky? Okay, that's kind of bullshit. 12 points of damage from a water elemental? How's a water elemental... Ooh. Okay, so I lied. 23? 11 points. See, this is what should be happening. 0 points of damage, 0 points of damage, 2 points of damage, 4 points of damage, 0 points of damage, 0 points of damage, 2 points of damage. Enough of those add up, though, and will kill us. But honestly, it looks like the big thing was we got a bunch of... Down here, we just got a bunch of, like, bigger hits. Or 12. 4, 12, 4. What was the other one? Was like a 11? Yeah, that's pretty much it. 4, 12, 4, 11. That's a lot of damage there. That's what, 31 damage in the space of a turn, basically. Yeah, well, shit. I mouthed off about the war shamblers, but it was the water elementals that killed us. That seems strange. Oh, that's what it is. These are armor-piercing attacks. I didn't realize the crushes were armor-piercing attacks. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Otherwise, they shouldn't be able to really harm us. So, okay, gotcha. I still hold with the idea that the war shamblers would have done us in on their own. But now we know we also have to contend with water elementals being able to kill the shit out of our thugs. I wonder what we could do from that standpoint. Honestly, it feels like the only real thing we could do is we'd have to have a body ethereal fluffer. And then maybe like Moss Body could really help. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Also, these guys have very high magic resistance. That's interesting. All right, well, so regardless, we lose that Wuya, which again, I don't mind losing the Wuya. I mind the situation with Atlantis. I mind them being super greedy when taking provinces from End. I mind them vulturing the shit out of me. I mind them being kind of like difficult to work with as far as like agreeing or negotiating, and like it's been 2 turns, and since we started kind of like talking or negotiating about borders, and this conflict has arisen, and they basically just put me off, right? Been like, oh well, you know, we should just I don't want to talk about it right now, let's, you know. And that's why I'm like, this is going to end up in us going to war, is what's going to happen. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We got a couple more fights that we have witnessed. Kangobia attacking Old Man. Leave the old man alone. And we've seen this, this army shtick. This is not going to amount to anything. And it's dead. A bunch of Rage of the Cornered Rat. Interesting. Because these all count as animals, I suppose. Well, not all of them. The Drakon Guard don't count as animals, but the Kengobs do. The Draco Runners do. Do the mounted ones do? Yeah, of course they do, because they're Kengob Draco Runners. So, all right, interesting. So, Rage of the Cornered Rat is giving them the ability to be berserk. A whole bunch of spiders. Throw spiders. They have throw spiders as a fucking spell. Okay. That's intense. We've got a battle between Phasia and Lemuria in Tekregus. See how this goes. A small raiding party from Phasia up against not much, honestly. I don't think an acolyte, a lemur acolyte, is going to be able to hold this off. Poke! Oh wow, is he going to live? Hey, he lived. Wow. Holy shit. And then we have a Urmorian attack on AI. I think the last AI holdout of Finiscandia is Muspel. So, decently sized Urmorian army against a bunch of random stuff that the AI has put together to try to oppose. Which, I mean, fair enough. Wolves coming out. Trying to hold things in the center. Might be able to hold up the center until the rest get here. We've got a bunch of scarecrows and some Benithe nobles. Okay, that's a problem for Ermor. Got a bunch of Gonogas back here. These guys are Priest 2s. So they actually have some hefty Winds of Memories. And if they get... Ooh, yeah. If Ermor gets stuck in this gate for too long, oif. Oif. Those Winds of Memories are just scything through his undead. Ooh, that one missed, like, almost entirely. This is actually going Finiscandia's way. Yeah. Very nice. Yep. That's a victory for AI Finiscandia. Very cool. 292 lost in the attack, 63 lost in the attack. So most of those were wolves. Still, it's a lot. It's a lot for AI to lose, but you know, good job, AI. Unexpected event in Assad. Spring floods have destroyed crops and buildings. We lost 207 gold. That's unfortunate. Worldwide event. The Throne of Law has been claimed by a righteous pretender. So, order +2 and unrest is decreased worldwide. And the Verdant Steppe is unharmed. That event, by the way, massively boosted our gold income this turn. It actually reduced a bunch of the unrest that we had throughout our territories, which is pretty dope. But it also actually boosted our order in a lot of different locations, which has given us more income as well, right? We don't actually have order, but to the point to where it increases, it's neutralized us, point that we actually recruit 5 Katsina warriors this turn, because we actually have recruitment points. Who'd have thunk that? I see a future where I play Chaco again, and actually try to play them scales. Give it the honest try. Maybe I do that as like a single player or like a recap or something like that to this game. Who knows? Anyways, what do we have going on this turn? So, mostly simple movements this turn. We're sending out some Kosharis into our territories. We're actually recruiting a bunch of Kosharis this turn to try to continue off that concept, right? The Koshari in every territory concept, so that we can hopefully have this type of income the majority of the time, rather than what we have been dealing with here lately. Other than that, we're making some big moves. We're moving our big army in Smacia onto the Verdant Steppe, and we're moving our big-ish army in Forest of Lost onto Bergamum. I don't anticipate words. Probably going to eat these words. I'm not anticipating really stout resistance in either of these locations. I think the majority... There were some forces in Verdant Steppe, but I think the majority of his forces have been pulled back to his capital, are in this stack in Ultima Delca, and are in this stack in Sitha. There doesn't seem to be much of anything here in Bergamum, so I'm hoping that's going to be a relatively simple and easy one for us. And there did seem to be some in Verdant Steppe, but also we've got a pretty big army here in Verdant Steppe. I'm hoping that that's going to be enough to do the thing. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, that should be it. We're also moving Mong 4 up into Aprisia 2, and I don't like saying this, but basically we're waiting until end hits fucking Atlantis somewhere, and then we can be like, oh, guess we'll try to take that from Ind. I'm really, really salty about that. I'm really salty about this. The way this is working. And honestly, to the point to where, like, it's these types of interactions where I'm like, well, I have a good list of people that I play with, and I'm like, oh yeah, I trust this person, or maybe I don't trust this person, but I work well with this person. They are a polite person, etc., etc. You know. And then there's people where I'm like, yeah, no, I'll probably try to kill this person if I see them in a future game. We're not to that point yet, just saying, but we're getting there. Absolutely, we're getting there. Anyways, we are moving towards Temiglia. Now that we have the Crystal Flames here, it is very much warranted for us to upgrade Temiglia to a wooden fort instead of a fortified village, and to get a temple and a lab down there. So we're probably going to do that over the course of the next couple turns and start pumping out crystal sorceresses. Maybe not a crazy amount of crystal sorceresses, but probably a fair amount, honestly. Crystal sorceresses thrown into communions with Chacoan star priests are probably going to do pretty well. I would be very, very pleased with that. Obviously, there's going to be some issues because the Chacoan star priests don't have air, but, you know, if we get enough crystal sorceresses to where we can mix them in, then it becomes less of an issue. I think that's it, honestly. I think that's pretty much the turn. We are recruiting in other places. More Chacoan star priests, more Chacoan star priests, more Chacoan star priests. Another sorceress. We're gonna get back on that route. We've got a Wuya coming out this turn. We've got 5 Katsina warriors coming out this turn. Very excited about that. That's where I wanted to be at this point in the game anyways, right? So, prior to us losing all of that population really early on in the game, we were producing 4 Katsina warriors, and our population should have continued to grow, thus increasing our recruitment points throughout the game, right? And then we should have been able to get up to 5 Katsina warriors. It would have been rough, but I think that's where we would be at right about now, is producing 5 Katsina warriors per turn. That's not going to last, but we are back at the producing 4 per turn, so, you know, fingers crossed, we'll see how that goes. I really want to figure out this situation here so that we can decide what the hell we're having to do. I wanted to go ahead and jump on Pastena. I really thought about this turn bringing back Wuya 2's army to head towards Pastena in order to try to take it, because I'm assuming this next turn King Gob is going to hit Old Man. They're going to breach that in a single turn. It's only 500 wall integrity. This should have way more than enough. And then it's going to... They'll take it the next turn, and then it's just a matter of moving over here to Pastena. So it's only like 4 or 5 turns until Pastena's gone. If we moved towards it this turn, we might have been able to get there in time. But as it is now, I don't think we're going to be able to. And part of that reason is because of screwing things over in Smacia originally in the war, and moving slow on certain scenarios after the middle of the war. And then the other big thing is not feeling like I have a secure, trusted ally to my north means that I don't want to go west. But I need to worry about that though, because, you know, I'm pretty sure Kangobia's Boz is the game host, and he's a pretty aggressive player. I think if he pops over to Pastena and he sees, you know, oh, I can get down into this rife, wonderful farmland, he'll probably take that option. So we have to be ready to fight against this pretty shortly. I don't know that we are, honestly. Like, if we think about these guys, oof, they hit so hard. They hit so hard. I think, you know, they have pretty low magic resistance, so maybe that helps us with our Vine Shield scenario. They have okay morale, so we can still potentially... Well, I say we can repel them, but it's... Well, yeah, we could repel them with stone birds. So there's that as an option. They don't have great defense skills, so that'll help for repelling. The Kengubs, low magic resistance, low morale, so those aren't as big of an issue. Still, even the soldiers, low magic resistance, low morale. The Kengub Raiders, basically the same thing. So we might do okay. Actually, we might do better against Kengobia than we do against Atlantis. So, fuck me. Matchups, man, matchups. Anyways, that's it for this turn. Oh, sorry. Forgot about other stuff. We're doing another big round of arcane probing. This is probably the last round for that. We'll probably still continue to do some arcane probing until we're all done up, but this will be the last round where we do like 10 of them. We're doing a Haruspex this turn. We're trying to target things where we're basically targeting Black Alps, target places where we don't want to go, or targeting like down... Or like up here, I think in Aprisia is where we're targeting. Places we're not going to get to for a while. But we're continuing to site search with Yona. Continuing to do that. And that's pretty much it. We don't really have a whole lot else going on this turn. Just researching. Only 226 research this turn because we have a whole bunch of Star Priests moving here and a whole bunch of Star Priests moving there. And that is a large portion of our research. But kind of is what it is. So yeah. Alright, that's it for the turn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.